Guys, I've been saying all year that I believe Q3 and Q4 will be explosive months for crypto. And what just happened at the Federal Reserve just made me think that even more. It's crazy how much confirmation is coming in. So, per usual, coming at you guys with a weekly macro update. We're going to go over something that just happened with the Fed that's only happened twice in history. We're going to go over some charts. We're going to go over some huge partnerships that happened with TradFi and crypto. And we're going to go over the SEC's recent huge crypto initiative. So per usual, before we get started, I always have to say none of this is financial advice. Let's jump straight into it, starting with the charts. Okay, so looking at the S&P 500, you see we had a 3% drop last week, and it has since then corrected almost halfway. We're still near all-time highs, and when the S&P drops, it takes crypto with it. But the markets have been pumping consistently, so I don't think a cool down is bad. And I wouldn't be surprised if we dropped even more. Look at the Dow Jones, we corrected down to our 62 EMA, but like I've been saying, as long as our 62 is on top of our 200, that means conditions are bullish. So until we get across, I'm still optimistic. I think we're going to continue to go up and to the right. Same thing here with the NASDAQ. We had a small little correction, and we can still see Apple is kind of just breaking down / consolidating. And it's having trouble getting over that 62 again, as it's been acting as resistance. And we can see that the 200 is on top of the 62. Now, if we look at Bitcoin, we got a pretty healthy retest right on our 62. We can see our 62 is still well above our 200. And we tested previous all-time high levels as support. Not even, almost, right? 110. So I think by September, October, November, we'll see 135, 140K Bitcoin. But I think this month that we're in, August, happy August, everyone. August is usually not the best month for crypto. I'm going to show you guys some of that data. But overall, I think this is a healthy correction and that we're still going to continue to move upward. If we look at ETH corrected as well. It has since then made up most of those gains. It went all the way down to 3,300 and some change, and now we're back at 37. And if we zoom out, we can see that this level has been acting as a pretty strong ceiling. It's like Ethereum's like trying to knock on the ceiling. It's not able to break through. But I think as Bitcoin continues to go up, we eventually want to see this. We want to see it break, retest this as support before we continue to go up and to the right. It's a matter of when, not if. And to be honest, if we zoom out a bit more, I think this correction is pretty healthy, especially since we had this huge run up right here, right? We need to give the market time for some fear to come in before we see the greed continue to come back in. So, things are never just going to move straight up all the time. In the biggest bull markets, there are always corrections on the way down. And if we scroll back to when Ethereum was at its all-time highs, we saw this huge correction from 4,300 all the way back down to 1,700 before it got all the way back up to all-time highs at 4,863. So don't be surprised if we see some huge dips along the way, but things are looking really, really healthy. Crypto total market cap took a dip as well. We're retesting previous all-time highs as support, and we're getting back within this channel. And as Bitcoin and ETH continue to pump into Q3 and Q4, I'm not going to say it like it's guaranteed, but I think this is what's going to happen. I've been talking about this for weeks, and we got more data here that I'm going to cover here in the video. I think we're going to continue to stay and operate inside this channel and eventually reaching the top of it. And if we go back here, you can see how the market was respecting it. Right here, it was inside of it, and then here it was treated as resistance. We wanted to get up in this channel, treat it as support, so we can see like this kind of action here. And if we look at Bitcoin dominance, this is a really good sign. Like I said, in the past few months, when this drops, that means altcoin season is coming. We're getting close to that cross here, right? Remember, we want to see the 200-day above the 62. Once this continues to drop, that means money is flowing out of Bitcoin into altcoins. And like I've been saying for the past few weeks, these red lines are the halvings. Each time we saw a break, we saw a retest as resistance, and then we saw this huge drop. And if we go back here, we saw the same thing. So a break, retest, and then boom, boom, boom. So now we're getting our break, we're getting our retest. I want to see a nice big red candle close. Let's look at the weekly and see how things are looking. Yeah, if you see on the weekly, we still have a ways to go. Right, Ethereum isn't even near all-time highs. Bitcoin is way past its all-time highs from the previous cycle. So it might be a few months, but once it happens, it's going to happen fast. Just like it happened here, and just like it happened here. And then if we look at the ETH to BTC ratio, like I've been saying for a few weeks, this is one of the best times to exchange your Bitcoin for ETH. Ethereum always outperforms Bitcoin in major bull rallies. Utility always trumps store of value. It's a matter of when, not if. So eventually we want to see ETH get above the 62, test it as support, get back in this channel and to continue to make its way up, and even get back on this channel as well, like it was here. But it's not going to happen overnight. It's probably going to be around a year or so, but slow and steady wins the race, guys. And this is a pretty high conviction trade. If we look at the fear and greed index, we can see that it's pretty neutral right now. This is good. Last week we were in the green territory. So the fact that we're here and prices are still pretty high is a really good sign. We got ETH and Bitcoin looking pretty good, like how I showed, and we're still a ways away from altcoin season. Altcoin season is when this white line is here in the blue. So it's a great time to be researching high quality alts. I've been calling out a few here on the channel if you want to scroll through the videos. And if we look here, we can see that over the past few days to weeks, Bitcoin and Ethereum ETF volume has slowed down, and now we're to the point where people are taking profits within Bitcoin ETFs. So we had 812 million in outflows from Bitcoin and 152 million in outflows in ETH. And again, we are in August, and if you look here, August historically is not the best month for crypto, neither is September. So this is perfect because it gives the market time to reset before October, November, and December come around, which historically are the best months. Q4 and Q1 are historically the best months, and you can see in August. So you can see in August, I'm not going to count this first one because we just hit August 2025. It's August 4th. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 red months, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 green months. So August is typically a red month. And the reason why is because fund managers, institutional investors, people in general, they like to take vacations. August is a vacation month, right? And then you look at September, it's mostly a red month as well, but you look at October, and this is Bitcoin's returns since 2013. Since 2013, Bitcoin has only had 2 red Octobers. That's really good. And, this isn't guaranteed for the cycle, but, you want to get the odds stacked into your favor as much as possible. And I like these odds. Okay, now let's talk about the Federal Reserve, guys. This is super, super important. Pay close attention. So the Federal Reserve just had its FOMC meeting on July 30th or 31st, I forget which day. And this is the meeting where they basically determine what they're doing with the interest rates. And if you didn't know, they kept interest rates the same. But here's the important thing that happened. We had a dual dissent by the Board of Governors. All right, so let me explain what that is before I get into the details. So the Federal Reserve's Board of Governors sits at the center of monetary power in the US. Like everything flows down from the Fed, right? And these Board of Governors are appointed by the president. They're confirmed by the Senate, and they serve long terms. Okay, so when they dissent, it's a public break in institutional unity. And dissent just basically means disagree. So a dual dissent means 2 governors voted against the chair's decision, which is Jerome Powell. Now, that is a huge deal, not to be understated, because the governors rarely dissent. It undermines the chair's authority, right? And it signals an internal disagreement. And this often comes before a turning point in Fed policy. So on July 30th, the 2 sitting Federal Reserve Board governors, Christopher Waller and Michelle Baumann, voted against the majority. They wanted to cut interest rates immediately, while Jerome Powell chose to keep rates the same. Now, I'm sure there's been times where they disagreed, but they still voted, as in unison. But this time they disagreed so much that they were willing to disagree publicly. And this is extremely rare. It was actually the first time in over 30 years. That's crazy because I'm 31. So to say something happened 30 years ago make me feel like, damn, ancient. But this is the first time in 30 years, 1993, that 2 board governors dissented at the same time. The only other time in modern history was 1993. And before that, it happened in like the 1930s. So this is the 3rd time this has ever happened since the creation of the Fed in 1913. The reason behind it is because Waller and Baumann believe that the economy is slowing down pretty fast, right? We already got inflation under control. Job markets are weakening, and they think that keeping rates high could push America into a recession. Now, here's something important to remember. Last time there was a dissent like this There was a policy change around 50 days later. 50 days later puts us into around mid-September. If rates drop at the next FOMC meeting, and now it's a very, very high likelihood that rates are going to drop, I think the market is going to price that in, and the market is actually going to start pumping in anticipation of that. I mean, it kind of already is. You saw the charts. Not only that, Donald Trump has been on Jerome Powell's ass telling him to lower rates since he became president. He even made a tweet calling him stupid and saying how he's trying to destroy the country. And now he's issuing that the Federal Reserve be audited to make sure they're spending money appropriately, auditing their buildings, all kinds of things. So Jerome Powell is not just under pressure by the president, but now his two board of governors are disagreeing with him. So it's a high likelihood that he's probably going to drop rates at this next meeting. And all the past bull markets, like when crypto went crazy, they were all in low interest rate environments. Since interest rates have been high, crypto has been struggling a bit because it's not as much liquidity in the system, right? Liquidity needs to find a home. Now that liquidity is going to be easier to access, cheaper to access, it's going to be much easier for crypto to pump. Let's get into some more key news. The SEC debuts Project Crypto to bring U.S. financial markets on chain. We already saw Robinhood launch their L2 on Arbitrum to allow the EU to buy U.S. stocks. Guys, what's basically happening right now is that the entire world is going to be able to speculate on the United States economy, which is just going to draw more liquidity into the U.S., and it's going to extend the United States' reign. That along with stablecoins. So just to give you a few key points, the SEC says that most tokens aren't securities. They're going to have clear rules for ICOs, airdrops, and staking. The US is embracing tokenized stocks, DeFi, and super apps. They're going to be self-custody protected, right? Crypto is all about self-custody, but still giving people the option to, hand that custody off to trusted firms. And then they're going to have an innovation exemption for crypto startups, which is going to create some cool things for people who are starting crypto companies in the US. So basically this regulatory initiative is shifting to allow and encourage on-chain as the future norm. Not they're tokenizing this. It's just going to be normal here pretty soon. Like everyone's getting behind this, all the regulating bodies. And lastly, JP Morgan and Coinbase launched a strategic partnership to make buying crypto easier than ever. Guys, you got to think back to when Jamie Dimon was saying like, oh, I'll fire anyone who buys crypto and Bitcoin's a scam. But now look at this. This is night and day. Watch what they do, not what they say. So give you the TLDR. They're going to have direct bank to wallet connections. So through JP Morgan's API, Chase customers will be able to seamlessly link their bank accounts to Coinbase wallets. Think about that. Your JP Morgan account linking to your Coinbase wallets where you hold your private keys. The connection will help mutual customers transact with confidence, security, and privacy that they're used to as customers of Chase. So think about how many people have Chase bank accounts, right? I'm sure Chase is probably going to market this thing inside of it, like get a Coinbase wallet, because they're trying to make money. Second thing, transfer of Chase Ultimate Rewards points. So Chase customers will be able to transfer their Chase Ultimate Rewards points to their Coinbase account, right? So the money you get from spending your card, you're going to be able to transfer that to your Coinbase account. This is going to mark the first time a credit card rewards program will be used to fund a crypto wallet. And lastly, this one's huge. For the first time ever, customers will be able to fund their Coinbase accounts using Chase credit cards. Guys, you being able to buy crypto on credit is going to make crypto explode so much more because, and this is the sad reality, people love to spend money that they don't have. So if people see crypto going up and they're like, oh, I can buy crypto on credit, it's going to cost so much more buying. I mean, this makes me think that JP Morgan is trying to pump their own bag so that, the powers that be can sell. Like this is like prime bull market stuff, guys. Like crazy. So with that, guys, I'd like to conclude this video. I'm just going to be still yield farming and accumulating high quality assets this month, September. But come October, November, December, be ready, put on your seatbelts because it's going to be go time. So with that, thank you so much for watching. I love every single one of you who tuned in, and I will see you guys next week for the next macro update. Take care and trade safe.